Carl Fergie is checking the legality of it because, as most wrestling fans know, you cannot use that thrust with the pointed fingers. You must use the side of the hand if you're going to use that chop, and it was hard to tell exactly how he administered it. Setting him up, and that time he came across with that slashing chop.
And the Super Ninja hasn't let up a single bit. He's got Sam Houston down, and he's staying right on him. He may be a little bit overconfident right now. And there you see that kick right to the chest of Sam Houston. It took a lot out of him.
That's the same type of kick that you see from TV champion Savannah Jack, also gentleman Chris Adams. It's becoming a popular move because it's a devastating move. As Sam Houston showing some signs of fighting back, but the Ninja was able to quickly put a halt to the comeback. Outside the ring, and that's Sam Houston to the ground as the Super Ninja looking mighty proud of himself as to handle this wrestler that's been getting so much talk and so much press lately.
Yeah, and he certainly has. Sam Houston right now trying to make his way back up into the ring, and it's a slow process, and there's the Super Ninja. He's right on him. He's not about to let him up, and Sam Houston has a 20 count to get back in the ring, but every time the Super Ninja tries to stop him, that count's broken. He has to start all over again, and we hear the fans here in the Sam Houston Coliseum getting behind Sam Houston.
Driving headbutt. As we've seen Sam Houston in action before, he's got an explosive style, but now we're starting to get a real test of how much punishment he can take, and many times that's a true indicator of just how great a wrestler really is being able to take that punishment and come back. 5 minutes deep in this match between Sam Houston and the Super Ninja, and we see Sam Houston now picking up momentum and steam as he goes around the ring post, up in the ring, and the Super Ninja now will have to face up the fired uppness of Sam Houston. As the Super Ninja was a little bit confident, he thought he had everything under control, but this is one of the things that has made Sam Houston the big star that he is being able to come back and stay up against any individual.
And Sam certainly has the approval of the fans here in the Sam Houston Coliseum, and he's not going to let up now as he fires off of those right hands of the Ninja, but the Ninja stopped him short.
And that's Carl Fergie now questioning the legality of the hold. And Bruce, you've refereed in several occasions. You know how tough it is when you see that lightning quick move and you see the result and you just didn't catch the exact blow that was used. And until you see it 100%, you can't call it. Right now we've got Ninja on top, and he almost was able to capitalize on those vicious blows of his, and now that kick, and to get a big victory over Sam Houston, and that would be a big victory.
There's no doubt about it. It would be a tremendous victory and a feather in the cap, as this is really the first opponent that the Ninja has met with any great reputation, and also for Sam Houston, as these are two men who are undefeated in the Universal Wrestling Federation.
Again, you see the target, the midsection of Sam Houston, and those karate top kicks and martial arts style of Super Ninja beginning to take over again on this match, as we see Sam Houston hanging on to the ropes.
And as you'll notice, the Super Ninja, he's very deliberate in his moves. He's not sloppy at all, and he doesn't take chances. He's very deliberate, knows what he wants to do, and goes out and does it.
Doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to the referee either. Hard backdrop, and Ninja's on top. We've got two, and we almost had three, as Sam wasn't ready to give up yet, and he clamps. You could hear that slap throughout the Coliseum as he clamped that claw-like grip again on Sam Houston.
And this is a hold he used earlier on in the match, and he's going right back to it. He had a lot of success with it earlier in the match. He's going with it, but you hear these fans here in the Coliseum, go Sam, go, and Sam Houston is rising to the occasion.
Regardless of the outcome of this match, both of these stars will see action this Friday night at the Sam Houston Coliseum. Be sure to get your tickets early, but most important, be here. It's a great card, and more matches are being signed every day. Stay tuned and catch all the details. And right now, we've got the Super Ninja. He's been able to effectively work over Sam Houston, but he has not been able to get that final blow, that final kick, that final move that spells victory in capital letters. But seems like as every time he just took aim that time, Bruce.
That's true, and you see the Ninja keeps reverting back to his martial arts skills. He is a great, tremendously skilled professional wrestler, and he continues to revert back to his martial arts skill as you see him now.
Slaps a sleep hold, and as the Ninja, Sam Houston has got to get out of it. You see a good close-up shot of how the Ninja's putting the pressure, trying to cut off the flow of blood to the brain of Sam Houston. And as Sam Houston grasping in desperation, he's got to get out of that hold. The longer it's applied, the more punishment and that Sam has to take, along with the distinct possibility of being knocked out unconsciously by cutting off the flow of the blood. And Sam Houston has got to move, and he's got to move quick.
And the Ninja keeps applying that pressure. As we see referee Carl Fergie checking Sam Houston's arm. He gives him 3 chances, and if he doesn't keep that arm up on the 3rd one, it'll be all over.
And here goes the 3rd one, as Carl Fergie's watching close, because he's got to be very careful. And it looks like Super Ninja was a little bit confused. Apparently he thinks he was awarded the match, and that was a big mistake on Super Ninja's part. And Sam Houston, the experienced star that he is, sees that he has a new lease on life as he dances into his style that allows him to explode with every ounce that he has, sends him flying, and that was confusion with Super Ninja.
And this is what makes Sam Houston so popular. He gets with the people and gets them going, and again, the Ninja stops him short, but Sam Houston has an explosive style, and he gets these fans here behind him, and he had Ninja going there for a second.
As it was pointed out early in the match, both men undefeated. It's a pivotal match for both men. For Super Ninja, victory over Sam Houston will help his credentials, and for Sam Houston will allow him to continue his quick rise to the top here in the Universal Wrestling Federation. 10 minutes are gone by in this match as the Super Ninja brings back with a backdrop. Sam Houston on top 2, but one more time falls short of that precious 3rd count, the one that will win that he's looking for. Another slashing chop. As you can see, the Super Ninja, as he unleashes, he has a way of gaining confidence with each blow.
And Sam Houston's taking an awful lot of punishment, but he's not about to give up. And there the Super Ninja misses with that big elbow drop, and Sam Houston comes off the ropes. Beautiful move.
Well, Sam Houston on top, and the quickness paid off. He exploded off the ropes and came out with a quick 1, 2, 3. And a big, big victory for Sam Houston right here from the Sam Houston Coliseum. And the crowd here, Houston wrestling fans, love what they just saw as Sam Houston jumps out of the ring. We'll be back with more Houston wrestling action in just one moment. As Eli eliminated Walbro, and there's Ted DiBiase as he is more than willing to even the score.
He comes in there to try to even things for Chavo Guerrero, and right now he's got them evened up. At least they've separated those two, and DiBiase is taking solid care of Wild Bill Irwin. And look at Chavo. He has recovered from that bad fall that he made. There was a fall that flying tackle that he took at Wild Bill Irwin dropped Ted DiBiase on the canvas.
And Akbar just rolled Ted DiBiase right into the ring post. Right into that metal ring post. It was Ted DiBiase driven by General Akbar, and it's both now Eli and Wild Bill Irwin going back to work on Chavo. And you can see DiBiase, he's cut open from that ring post.
He was slammed in there fiercely. He bounced right off of Wild Bill Irwin, knocked Irwin down. As he fell, he rolled and was underneath the rope and onto the concrete. So the black glove comes out. That is the trademark of Ted DiBiase. And what the manner in which he uses that glove has determined the outcome of many matches. And Chavo will have help here in a moment. And the fans are screaming for DiBiase to give it to him.
DiBiase with that
lays
glove
it in there.
As he laid into Wild Bill Irwin, now Eli coming at him, and DiBiase knew what to do with him. Drove that glove fisters right into the midsection. Chavo Guerrero's the winner. DiBiase still stunned by that ring post. Chavo's the winner of the match, but Ted DiBiase, who came down to even the odds for Chavo, found himself quickly thrown into that ring post, and he's cut open and hurt.
All right, DiBiase, I've changed my mind. That's my prerogative. I want my 5 minutes now. So come on down.
General
Show all your American
Akbar.
buddies how much stinking guts you got.
Currently in the ring, weighing in at 245 pounds, from parts unknown, General Skandar Snackbar.
Now as General
This
Skandar
match is only
Akbar-
5 minutes long.
5 minutes.
No referee. No referee.
Now, what the ringside announcer means is there's not going to be a referee inside the ring. There's going to be one outside the ring, but he is going to be helpless unless he can do something from reaching inside the ropes. And you saw how unsuccessful Tommy Gilbert was. Ted DiBiase may have made a mistake by coming back to the ring too soon, Paul.
Yes, he just didn't want Akbar to have any excuses, and he didn't want Akbar to be able to point any fingers. That is a mistake. He may be underrating the savagery of Skandar Akbar. And Akbar got rid of those two referees pretty quick. He knew they weren't supposed to be in there, and literally, as they hung onto his whip, he threw them out of the ring. This time, they managed to snatch that whip, and this may give Akbar the chance he's looking for.
Ted DiBiase facing the vicious attack of General Skandar Akbar. What fans have to realize is that General Skandar Akbar is a former North American heavyweight champion. He was a top competitor not too long ago, and so when he steps inside the ropes, he's not a stranger to that territory.
No, and now as the referee is on the outside of the ring, the referee should be able to do something about what transpires on the outside of the ring. And ramming into that iron fence is not conducive to good health, I'll tell you that. Akbar has put Ted DiBiase in serious trouble in the first stages of this match.
5-minute time limit, but you can see the cut now on Ted DiBiase's head. Much more severe now as General Skandar Akbar has done nothing but aggravate it, whether it's driving his head into the metal ring barricade or using that whip or using his fist. General Skandar Akbar, like a killer shark, sees that blood of Ted DiBiase. 3 minutes left in the match, and Ted DiBiase, who was looking forward to this 5-minute opportunity to get his hands on General Akbar, has not exactly turned out the way he would like to have seen it.
No, he was looking forward to this with a great deal of eagerness. There's no question about that. And as he gets this punishment from Akbar and time starts to run out, it has destroyed all of Ted DiBiase's plans. There are less than 3 minutes to go. And DiBiase has such... Well, maybe I'm sure that the head of his must be pounding because he was rammed not only into the ring post, but into the fence around the ring. And it has caught him in several places. And Akbar is not helping things by using his teeth on him.
Well, General Skandar Akbar knew that he had a great advantage when he saw Ted DiBiase hurt and drove that boot right into it. And Ted DiBiase is in bad shape with that cut on his head. And now it looks like he's fighting back on instinct and instinct alone. You can see that look in his eye. He knows there's still some time left in this match. And now he chomps down on General Skandar Akbar. And the fans here are standing on their feet. They're cheering. One-man gang down now at ringside trying to shout out words of encouragement to his boss, the General. And Ted DiBiase, he doesn't need words of encouragement. He's got personal fortitude to battle back.
Well, Akbar is down, and if he gets too close to Ted, he's going to have trouble. Now Ted starts to take over, but he is not yet the master of this match because he's not yet the master of himself. He is the man who is in trouble, and I think it's starting now to dawn on him. And
now Akbar's cut open. Ted DiBiase has cut open General Skandar Akbar. As time is starting to tick away in this match, remember only a 5-minute time limit. Look at DiBiase. He's now got this opportunity. He's been waiting for it, and he's got it now. And he's not wasting any time in taking the battle right to General Akbar. And Akbar now, the Midway one-man gang interfering in the match as he couldn't resist the opportunity to come in and battle the battered Ted DiBiase. 30 seconds remain in the match, and all busted loose.
Yes, it's busting loose around here someplace. Somebody is racing down to the ringside. And in comes Savannah Jack. Savannah Jack goes after the one-man gang. And he is the man who is due to challenge the one-man gang in the Universal Wrestling Federation title match here tonight.
And as Savannah Jack tears into one-man gang, DiBiase, who's trying to recuperate from the attack of one-man gang, Savannah Jack making sure he get a few kicks into General Akbar.
Heavyweight match on right.
And so Savannah Jack inside the ring. Tommy Gilbert, the referee, is now, I think, ordering one-man gang back in the ring. Ed, don't break away yet. We may have the Universal Wrestling Federation heavyweight title match right now. You're looking at General Akbar injured as he lays there up against the ring. We've got Savannah Jack ready now, and it looks like that's what's taking place. The title match of the Universal Wrestling Federation heavyweight title with Savannah Jack up against the UWF heavyweight champion, one-man gang. And Paul, we are now into the UWF title match.
Well, things are moving with a lightning-like speed here tonight. Tremendous action, and Savannah Jack now can win the Universal Wrestling Federation heavyweight title. He is already the television champion. He holds that regardless of anything else. But as he comes in here now, he has the weapons in those feet of his to put him to the test, put this one-man gang to the test.
He came close. You know the confusion element is there. General Akbar's not 100%. This could be a golden opportunity for Savannah Jack. One-man gang is not fully ready mentally, and this could be a big edge for Savannah Jack. The man who surprised everybody by winning the TV title and then successfully holding on to it. What a TV champion he has proven to be. And he now may be able to ride that same wave of momentum all the way to the Universal Wrestling Federation heavyweight title. He's got one-man gang down. He's got the arm bar hold, and Savannah Jack could be pulling off the big victory.
He's got that arm bar well applied, too. He's a colorful individual, but that's a word that is not the strong word here. He is a capable man in that ring. He's had considerable experience as a fighter. He has been a football player. He has most certainly been a wrestler, and he knows how to use his feet. And his feet have proven to be the most potent weapons that he has displayed during the times he has wrestled here.
Outside the ring, we still have a bloody General Skandar Akbar and a bloody Ted DiBiase. Both of them still have recuperated from the aftermath of their wild showdown. And that rip across the face by one-man gang, as now he's starting to do what he's noted for, and that is to punish and beat up his opponents.
Now he's in trouble. Let's see what the weight, the solid weight of the huge man can do to the skill of Savannah Jack. Jack in trouble as the pounding comes down and starts after him. You can see the confidence with which the one-man gang stands behind him. That's a good place to be if you want to build up confidence. But Savannah Jack sometimes is able to use those feet of his in a reverse fashion, so we'll be watching that.
Hard blow by one-man gang. Regardless how Savannah Jack makes out tonight in his title match, he will be defending his UWF TV Championship on Friday, March 6th against Iceman King Parsons. One of 2 title matches, in addition to the 6-person elimination tag when Dark Journey, Missing Link, and Chavo Guerrero go up against Sunshine and the Freebirds, Michael Hayes and Buddy Jack Roberts. More matches are being signed outside the ring. It looks like we've got a battle continuing on with Ted DiBiase and General Akbar. Inside the ring, we have the UWF title showdown, and that is what the fans are watching along with that battle outside the ring. It's impossible to bring you all the action. That's why we encourage you to come down in person to catch all the color and excitement and thrills of Houston Wrestling live and in person right here in the Coliseum. And Friday, March 6th is the next time you should be here. Oh, he came charging across like an avalanche, and Savannah Jack was able to get out of the way just in time.
He got away in time, and that ring shook. You could see as he hit that turnbuckle, the ring literally stretched. And now, as he starts to set him up, there's a quick switch. It is trouble for Savannah Jack. not too much. Come up with a foot.
Oh, what a
And
kick.
beautiful
What a
move.
kick. He's
There's
on
one.
top. Two
There's
and
two.
oh.
Into the ring comes Skandar Akbar. And Akbar, I believe, has deliberately gotten his man disqualified to protect the title.
Well, Savannah Jack had landed the kick. He was on top, and it looked like he was going to get that
Ted
third count.
DiBiase's in the ring.
DiBiase's in the ring, and we've got all four men battling. The bell is sounding. Savannah Jack is going to win on this qualification, it looks like, but he doesn't win the title. But Ted DiBiase knocking the one-man gang down and out of the ring. Savannah Jack the winner on a disqualification, but he came so close. And if Dino Akbar and quickly comes to the aid of one-man gang, we would have had a new Universal Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion. Savannah Jack proving one more time he is a champion, and it could be just a matter of time before he beats one-man gang for that UWA title. You see Savannah Jack now trying to help his friend Ted DiBiase. What an outstanding performance by Savannah Jack. Just split seconds away from becoming the new UWF heavyweight champion before Akbar quickly reacted. Nevertheless, he has proven to Akbar, he has proven to UWF officials and to all the wrestling fans here in the Coliseum and those of you at home, he's got what it takes to beat one-man gang 1, 2, 3. We hope you enjoyed the wrestling action, and we hope you'll stay tuned, and we'll be back in just one moment.
Cash of Ted DiBiase's money. And on March the 6th, I'll do exactly what you want.
That's right.
You want to get in with Skandar Akbar again?
I want him back in the ring, Mr. Butts. That's right. Paul Bosch is holding $10,000 of my money. Not the UWF putting up the money, Akbar. It's $10,000 coming out of my pocket to get your slime ball body back in that ring. I should have known, and I did know, and I had help coming. But I got there a little bit late. Well, let me tell you something, Akbar. It's me and Steve Cox. Steve Cox is the new protege of my partner, Steve Williams. And if I didn't have a world of faith in this young man and know that he's got great potential and he's going to climb the wrestling ladder, believe me, he's going to climb it fast. If I didn't have a lot of faith in him, he wouldn't be my partner. He wouldn't be standing in my corner, because I got to have somebody in my corner that I can trust and depend on. Skandar Akbar and you, one-man gang, I've been this close. I've beat you twice on national television, and I still do not have that belt around my waist. But the stipulation, the other stipulation in this match, is that should we win this match, whichever person wins the fall in the match gets a title match. Am I not?
Gets the title
Gets
match.
a title shot with the one-man gang. Let me tell you something, Akbar. As bad as I want the Universal Wrestling Federation heavyweight title, all I want Steve Cox to do is to keep the one-man gang occupied long enough so I can get my hands around your scrawny Arab neck one more time and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and run you right out of Houston, Texas. That's not a threat, Akbar. It's a promise.
Ted DiBiase, and he means it. And I have rarely seen a man so intent on destroying another man. He will get him on March the 6th, and you'll get his action too. Well, I don't know why you happen to bring help along here. Do you think that, are you afraid of me, that I'm going to attack you? I've got $10,000 of Ted DiBiase's money, and he says he's going to rip nude off of your head, and he's going to shave you in the ring at the same time.
Right now, my wrestling days are over. I don't have to wrestle. I'm a rich man.
You better wrestle
Let me tell
him.
you something. If I had to wrestle, I was a former North American champion. And you found out, Debussy, it wasn't easy as you thought it was going to be. Well, let me tell you something else, big head. Get it straight, punk. This time around, I'm going to take $10,000 of your money. I'm going to put those sweaty, grimy, stinky wrestling trunks on one more time. And I'm going to have the one-man gang by my side, so I don't have to get in the ring, Paul Bosch.
You'll get in the
I don't
ring.
have to get in the ring. And guess who? Steve Cox, a young punk with snot all over his nose. Well, let me tell you, boy, I know how to wipe your nose. I'm the Godfather. I'm the General. In addition to this big card on March the 6th, we got Wild Bill Irwin, and I got Eli the Eliminator against Terry Taylor and Chris Adams for the UWF tag belt. Gentlemen, Chris Adams, you know what kind of man. I'm disgusted with it all. And as for you, Paul Bosch, I'm not forgetting. You know what I'm talking about. You embarrassed me one time here, and I always pay people back. You just keep that in mind, you understand? One more time, Debussy, I'll take $10,000, and I'll take some of your hide. Yeah. Because I'm going to have the one-man gang with me. March the 6th.
That's it, March the 6th.
I know when it is. He better know when it is. And that will be the answer. Friday, March the 6th. Be here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. Some great action, and not the least of it is going to
see a village, Detroit. Chavo Guerrero,
Eddie Gilbert. Again, I'm telling you that penalty box ought to be in effect all the time. As a matter of fact, I'd like to see 2 or 3 of them break the penalty and all be in the box for a minute at the same time. Maybe when they couldn't run from each other, we'd really get some things settled in something like that. You see Chavo Guerrero, he hurt his kidney area. Of course, Rick Steiner looking totally innocent.
Eddie Gilbert got completely away of him, but he did his damage. And Steiner doesn't want Chavo back in the ring. We got 30 seconds of airtime left, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Universal Wrestling Federation. Remember the debut of the new tag team champions right here next week.
Look at that Chavo, that tremendous leap. He almost got Steiner there. Jim, it doesn't look like we're going to have a ending to this match before we go off the air, but Chavo made another tremendous move.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Universal Wrestling Federation. You've just seen footage of last week's exciting matchup between Chavo Guerrero and Rick Steiner. I'm Jim Ross. I'll be your host for the next 60 minutes. You're going to see the debut of Sam Houston in this hour of UWF action. Also the wrestling debut of Steve Cox. And you'll also see the debut of the new UWF Tag Team Champions, Terry Taylor and gentleman Chris Adams, in this hour of Universal Wrestling Federation action. Now, I've asked Ernie to join us because last week, Cowboy Bill Watts and Michael Hayes finally agreed on something, that it was a good idea to have a penalty box match. Now, seeing as though Dark Journey's going to be very much involved in this situation, you've had a while to think about it. What are your thoughts about signing a match with penalty box stipulation?
Well, my thoughts on it are I agree it's a very good idea because 2 can play the game. I'm tired of back jumpers and cheaters, and everybody in here is. And I've had it. And I'm going to tell you one thing, so you better listen up, Michael Hayes and Sunshine. While the Link is tearing your hide from one end of the ring to the other, I'm sure Sunshine's going to be right in this cage where she belongs.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to be joined by Michael Hayes and Sunshine here. And I hope that we can keep use a little bit of discretion here, Michael.
You know, I'm really getting sick of looking at you. I'm getting sick of your lies. I'm getting sick of your interference. This is exactly where you belong. You should feel at home in this. You know that?
Listen, while this match goes on, I'm going to do one thing while Link's taking care of you. I'm going to walk right up and slap the referee right in the face. And you know where that puts me? Right in the cage with you.
Hey, wait a minute, you two-tone Cadillac. Class does not belong.
Cadillac, you're nothing but the Freebird dog that tell you to get in here.
Hey,
hold on.
Don't start messing with my Sunshine. Don't you start messing with it. You understand me?
Oh, wait.
Put her in there. Put her in there. Now, that's where you belong. You look real good, girl. Run your mouth now. Now you see what a real woman's like. Come on, girl, get out. Get out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to get out of this thing. Let's see the videotape replay of the tag team tournament.
From the Universal Wrestling Federation, I'm Doyle King with a capsulized look at the recent UWF Tag Team Tournament. This was the tournament that not only brought photographers from around the world, but had promoters from coast to coast upping their original bids to get the tournament to their city. The ultimate decision was to give the Fort Worth, Dallas fans the final nod. The UWF Tag Team Tournament was held at the Fort Worth Stockyards Cowtown Coliseum in the Billy Bob's Texas complex. The first event put the number 3 seeded team of Rick Steiner and Sting, Hyatt and Hot Stuff, both allowed at the ring for this match. That put them at odds with the number 6 seeds, Chavo Guerrero, and the missing link with Dark Journey. The pace of this match was lightning quick and as hard-hitting as any match you'll ever see. Not only did referee Cody have to contend with the blistering intensity of the match, but he was also faced with Hyatt and Hot Stuff, who just could be the two biggest distractions in wrestling today.
And she would certainly distract any male referee that I know.
Well, both those ladies out there can do their distraction, of course. Oh, beautiful move by Chavo Guerrero. Sting tried to throw him over the top rope to the floor, which would have been a disqualification had it been caught, but Guerrero chinned himself back in. Guerrero's got him pinned. And of course, the referee is messing with Eddie Gilbert. Carl Fergie's out of position.
The missing link is in the wrong corner, and over the top went Chavo Guerrero.
Looks like Chavo hurt himself. You know, you catch your legs or your knees wrong on the side of the apron or on that steel barricade going around, it can really incapacitate you.
Falling in a precarious fashion, his balance thrown off, and hurt from the fall, Guerrero's almost counted out for what should have been an automatic disqualification in his favor.
Chavo looked at me like he caught that knee on the side of the apron. Steiner standing suplex. Look at Chavo again. Chavo's got him pinned. He's got him pinned again, Eddie Gilbert. Referee's out of position. Chavo Guerrero was waiting for it that time when they came in on him, and he really took Rick Steiner. Oh, no. No, it looks like Carl Fergie saw that move, and Chavo Guerrero threw the man over the top rope, and Fergie caught him. It's a disqualification. He's disqualifying him, Jim.
His Latin temper bested him as his disqualification propelled Steiner and Sting into the semifinals. After the match, Guerrero made these very pointed comments.
From now on, if they want to fight, we'll fight. If they want to wrestle, we'll wrestle. If they want to go to the street, we'll go to the street. And it doesn't matter. Oh, come on. It doesn't matter, man.
As the Cowboy Bill Watts described it, it was kind of like a fight in the NFL, where the person who retaliates is the one who gets caught. More tag team tournament action next from the UWF. To have you back with more here from the UWF Tag Team Tournament. This is the second match in the first bracket. The number 2 seeded team of Terry Bam Bam Gordy and the Angel of Death with a combined weight of over 610 pounds. This was the biggest team in the UWF tournament. They faced the number 7 seeds, Terry Taylor and Sam Houston.
Terry Bam Bam Gordy and the Angel of Death. Jim Ross and Cowboy Bill Watts with you from the Cowtown Coliseum.
Whoa, did Gordy bang Sam Houston and welcome him to the UWF. But Sam Houston never used that mobility for his top skill level.
The match was a classic battle of quickness against strength. Gordy and the Angel inflicted their fair share of lumps and bruises, but it was Taylor and Houston who advanced with an upset victory.
What an upset in this tournament!
Now, match 3. In round 1, featured of Devastation Incorporated, the number 6 seeded team of Wild Bill Irwin and Eli against Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Ted DiBiase, the number 1 seeds in the tournament. As one would naturally suspect, General Skandor Akbar was at ringside to support his team, and supported he did, as you can very well see.
Got to get your focus on what's going on in the ring. That's why Akbar is such a valuable tool out there. Look at him whip Ted DiBiase.
The General's promise almost came true as the double teaming of DiBiase put him in a dangerous situation. Free was distracted, but Dr. Death wasn't.
Get out of there, they're double teaming on Ted, but Doc went on around anyway. And Ted DiBiase, fantastic move. Ted DiBiase just put on Bill Irwin as the Doctor just even things up. And the Doc, oh, somebody's going to get a leg broken out there, Jim. 1, 2, 3, a cradle, and Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death, and now you see why they're the number 1 seed.
DiBiase and the Doc are truly an awesome combination. However, they were yet to see the end of Devastation Incorporated. Match 4 of round 1 saw the long-awaited return of the gentleman Chris Adams, as he and Iceman King Parsons, the number 8 seed in the tournament, battled the fabulous Freebirds Michael Hayes and Buddy Jack Roberts, who were seeded 4th. This match was a seesaw battle, but Adams edged out Michael Hayes' ego in the end. as a high-risk move by the Freebirds allowed Adams to super kick his way into the semifinals.
Adams is fighting. Buddy Jack's going up for the coup de grace.
Buddy Roberts!
Great move.
He missed Adams! Adams!
Oh, right on the jaw. Right on the jaw. The master of the super kick. Chris Adams inside cradle. And the fall.
Things looked bleak for the Birds after their blunder as Hayes and Roberts began to argue. But Adams' attitude and execution were peaked. His temper was in line, and he proved to the world that this was no show. The super kick is his eye of the tiger. Just ask Buddy Jack Roberts. The first match of round 2 was the most unusual matchup of the night. It pitted two teams that would ordinarily not wrestle one another because of their friendship. It pitted number 1 seeded Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death against the Iceman and the gentleman, Chris Adams. The match was hard fought and, as you might expect, scientific. But the scorn of General Skandor Akbar was by no means dead, and he sent his troops to stop the advance of DiBiase and Williams.
Oh!
The one-man gang!
DiBiase's down. Here's Devastation Incorporated. And I don't know if Doc sees it. Doc didn't see it. They've jumped DiBiase. There goes Doc. He sees it. Chris Adams is coming to help. Iceman's holding Chris Adams back. Looks like Devastation Incorporated fighting Doc and DiBiase. Akbar is whipping him.
That's four.
There goes Chris Adams to help. What's Iceman doing? Iceman, get out there and help your buddy.
Iceman's wanting the referee
They're still outnumbered. He's telling the referee to count. Iceman's the legal man, and Dr. Death's the legal man in the ring.
Chris Adams is helping, but the Iceman has stayed behind, and the referee is counting.
He's counting Doc out of the ring, apparently. There's no disqualification because neither team is associated with Devastation. And Iceman has stayed in the ring, and Fergie has apparently counted Doc out of the ring.
Parsons' hand was raised in victory, but as Adams proved with Freebird Buddy Roberts, he wanted to win by pinfall, not by paper.
Bring them back. Bring them back, and let's wrestle. Bring them back. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's over with, man. We won. We won, man. We in the finals. We in the finals. I don't want to win like that. I want to wrestle him here fair and square right in the middle of the ring right now.
Adams was so intent on this fact that his homecoming be marred by this particular event that he refused to tag with Iceman King Parsons, and he refused to be a part of his team in the finals. The UWF accepted this decision, and in the interests of fair play and in the progression of the tournament, they held a coin toss to see who would continue, Adams or the Iceman. The gentleman won the toss, and he was allowed to choose a new partner. He chose Savannah Jack. In the second bout of round 2, the number 7 seeds, Terry Taylor and Sam Houston, took on number 3 seeded Rick Steiner and Sting. The quickness and the strength of these two teams made this a breathtaking contest, consisting of nothing but pure athletic skill. At one point, the match looked like it might go to a time limit draw, but the balance was shifted by the outside interference of Missy Hyatt and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Once again, the pair pushed Steiner and Sting up a notch, this time into this.
Terry Taylor and Sam Houston have just been eliminated.
At that point, the final match was made. It was to be Chris Adams and Savannah Jack against Steiner and Sting. However, the jilted Iceman came to the ring to protest.
Savannah Jack! I've been riding all over this country with that sucker. That's no good, low-lifted, greasy, black-eyed peas eating food. Man, I can't believe this. I don't want to take your spot. You and Chris are the team. I don't ever want to take your spot, brother. You and Chris can get in this tournament, and I know you can win. You know, you ought to go back there and make up with Chris, talk about it and everything. Everything will be all right, man. Sure, brother, come on. We ought to go back there and talk about it. Okay, bro. Come on. All right. Come on, man.
The Iceman's desire to do the final overcame his common sense. He lost friends, He lost respect, and he lost a shot at the tag team title. He also put Savannah Jack out of the tournament with a shoulder injury, which meant that Adams was now without a partner. Hyatt and Hot Stuff International's Rick Steiner and Sting, along with the Dallas-Fort Worth fans and myself, were left in anxious await to see who Adams' new partner would be.
Terry Taylor, the dream team, you know, Terry Taylor and Chris Adams.
Emotions were at their ultimate, but Taylor and Adams stayed cool. Gilbert's attempts to upset the balance almost worked, but the team of Taylor and Adams managed to secure the victory and the prestige of the UWF Tag Team title.
Five iron! Here comes Steiner with a 5-arm, and he nailed it!
Taylor got it, Taylor got the dream team, Chris Adams and Terry Taylor. Terry Taylor, his second chance. He didn't blow it, and they've got the titles, Jim.
Gentlemen, Chris Adams and Terry Taylor are the new Universal Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions.
There are your winners and new champions, Terry Taylor and Chris Adams, and the fans in the Metroplex, who were winners of the best wrestling action they'd ever seen, live. I'm Doyle King for the Universal Wrestling Federation.
Eddie Gilbert and Sting and Missy Hyatt. And Eddie says he wants to do the talking.
Not only do I want to do the talking, I want to do some action. And when we come in Texas, the next time right here, the Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas, I'm wrestling none other than Sam Houston.
That seems appropriate. And he tells me he's going to score a win.
He can tell you all night long, he can tell you, Mr. Paul Bosch, all day long, all week long, that he's going to beat Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. There's been a lot of men for a long, long time now. I could even go up as far as the big cowboy himself, Bill Watts, that said he was going to run Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert right out of the UWF. Well, Sam Houston, you've got a great reputation, but you're going to have to earn your reputation in the UWF. And when you step in the ring with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, along with the beautiful Missy Hyatt, you better get ready to earn a good one. And Sting here, our main man, is going against Bobby Perez. And Sting, tell him, after you get through with Bobby Perez, what your next goal is.
Bobby Perez, short, simple. I'm going to walk all over your face. Period.
Hey,
So was he?
just a minute. All I've got to say is neither one of you guys have nothing but the best competition ahead of you.
So there it's going to be.
From St. Joe, Missouri, Mike George. Also introducing from Anaheim, California, at 322 pounds, the Angel of Death.
It will be the Angel of Death and Mike George, and they'll be going against the new Universal Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, Terry Taylor and gentleman Chris Adams. And you saw the recap, the videotape recap of the tag team tournament. It was a tremendous tournament full of some just astounding upsets. And who would have ever thought that Terry Taylor and Chris Adams, who entered as a team, would prevail as the turn of events happened, and they became the new UWF Tag Team Champions. It was a night that will live on in wrestling history.
The newly crowned UWF Tag Team Champions. From Vero Beach, Florida, at 234 pounds, Terry Taylor. And from England, at 233 pounds, gentleman Chris Adams. This match, one fall or 10-minute time limit.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, earlier in the hour, that situation was totally uncalled for, with involving Michael Hayes and Sunshine with a very blatant cheap shot on Dark Journey. And I can assure you that I've never in my life seen Dark Journey as enraged and incensed as she was. Thank goodness that the missing link came on the scene. As demented as Michael Hayes and the Freebird family, there's no telling what would have transpired. They could have pushed this cage all the way off our elevated position here. The new tag team champions, Terry Taylor and gentleman Chris Adams. And I think that you're going to see possibly one of the longest reigns ever, because this is an awesome team, and they're up against some awesome opponents here. The Angel of Death showing his great agility. Terry Taylor with a high cross body. Taylor's got the leg grapevine, but the power of the Angel of Death freed him of that pinning predicament, and Terry Taylor with a quick arm drag takedown and an even quicker tag to gentleman Chris Adams. And Adams came in off that second rope with a knee right to the bicep, and a very large bicep of the Angel of Death, who at 6'7", 322 pounds, one of the bigger men in professional wrestling. His partner for this occasion, Big Mike George, at 279. The Angel of Death with a scoop slam on Chris Adams, and there's a tag. Here comes Mike George. Adams reverses the hip toss and an arm drag takedown. Lightning quick by gentleman Chris Adams. We're going to be recapping some situations involving General Skandar Akbar in the hour. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. Terry Taylor with the elbow. Flying mare takeover. Taylor went for the elbow, but George, the veteran, moved out of the way, and he did make the tag to the Angel of Death. The Angel of Death basically on loan from the Freebird family. One thing about it, Hayes and company will get a first-hand scouting report from the Angel of Death. And you can bet that the Angel and George see dollar signs in this match. Backbreaker applied to Terry Taylor by this powerful man from Anaheim, California, the Angel of Death. Steve Cox will make his wrestling debut in the hour, as will the very impressive 21-year-old Sam Houston, as he takes on Rick Steiner, all to come in the hour. Double teaming tactics by George and the Angel, and another backbreaker. The power move being executed extremely well by George and the Angel as this match progresses on the UWF. Terry Taylor fighting back, but driven back in the corner goes Taylor. George holding Taylor, but there was a tag. Taylor does not know that, but there was a tag, and the Angel of Death with some clubbing forearms to the head of Terry Taylor. The Angel, that foot, remember, he's 6'7". The Angel with a cheap shot on Chris Adams, and Adams coming in full of fire. Terry Taylor, the inside cradle. He's got the Angel pinned, and the referee is detained with Chris Adams. He had the Angel down what seemingly was an eternity, and the Angel got a break there and quickly made the tag to Mike George. Mike George now working over Terry Taylor, and they have had Taylor in the ring a long time. And now Taylor sticking the foot in the face of Mike George, and there's the tag to Chris Adams, and Adams comes in with a lot of fire and determination. One half of the tag team champions. And now Terry Taylor back in. It's all four men in the ring here on the Universal Wrestling Federation. Adams and George, the legal men in the ring. And there's a super kick. The super kick of George, the jaw. Taylor sent the Angel outside, and we've got a pin. The new UWF Tag Team Champions with a victory, and we'll be back with more exciting Universal Wrestling Federation action after this timeout.
Houston wrestling history will be made. For the first time ever, a 6-person elimination tag. Dark Journey, Missing Link, and Chavo Guerrero up against the Fabulous Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes, Buddy Jack Roberts, and Sunshine.
You know what? You guys keep coming up with the most ridiculous and most ludicrous ideas for matches here in the Sam Houston Coliseum on March 6th, am I right? I'll make sure I got the date right, because sometimes, you know, my mind gets to wandering and I forget what I'm doing, except when I get in that wrestling ring.
And you better think about this, Dark Journey. It's obvious that you ain't got the guts. If you want her, why don't you take her one-on-one? You ain't got the guts. You want to hide behind Chavo Guerrero. Yeah, he's a great wrestler. He can overcome people that are bigger than him. I don't think he can overcome my Angel of Death, but he's overcome big men before. The missing link, his reputation speaks for himself. But when you talk about tag team wrestling, you talk about the Freebirds, the word fantastic doesn't fit, the word fabulous does. It's synonymous with tag team wrestling. So, let me make sure, because you're the one, you're part of this. Now, when one person gets beat, they got to go to the back, right? Correct. And then if another person gets beat on the same team, they got to go back, right? Correct. So there could be one person against 3 people. Now, what I want is a commitment from you that once me and my brother get rid of the missing link, and we get rid of Chavo Guerrero, then the 3 of us get Dark Journey. Woo! Okay, and then what are you going to do to her, sweetheart?
Ah, sweetheart, for once, I feel more confident, more secure in any match in my entire life. I got Michael P.S. Oh, my God, hey. Buddy Jack Roberts. Dark Journey, you don't stand a chance. Because when I do get a hold of you, I might just let them have a piece of you, too. I think it might be fun. We might all just take up on it.
And before all that gets started, our big gun here, the Angel of Death, is going to chew up on a little local Houston boy named Gary Young, ain't you, Angel?
You know, that's a perfect way, Michael, for me to show the people of Houston what I think about them. Just beating one of their own. I'll just beat them and throw them out in the garbage with the rest of these Houstonians.
Hey, I tell you what, put him down, just like the whole city of Houston's going down.
So March 6th, you got a little bit of time to think about it, Dark Journey. Think about just you, by yourself, walking it by yourself, looking across the ring at the 3 of us, knowing that what you're going to get, girl, is something somebody should have given you a long time ago.
Michael, do you remember when Sunshine knocked that man out?
Yes.
Hey, what do you think she can do to a woman?
Friday, March 6th, the first time
in the past several weeks, General Skandar Akbar's Devastation Incorporated have been a driving force in the Universal Wrestling Federation. And Akbar seems incensed in ridding the professional wrestling scene, as he has put it, of Ted DiBiase. Well, in Fort Worth, Texas, on November 16th of 1986, it looked like that Ted DiBiase's wrestling career was ended. Let's go back in time and join the closing moments of that matchup. The result of that 747, Ted DiBiase put on the shelf for a couple of months at the hands of Skandar Akbar's giant one-man gang. But last week here on the Universal Wrestling Federation, Ted DiBiase got a championship rematch with the gang, and let's join the closing moments of that contest.
There he goes again. But Teddy was waiting for him. Oh, my gosh.
The gang just...
He just annihilated the referee. The referee was just smashed. He's just like a waffle on a waffle iron, and now the gang has got DiBiase completely at his mercy. Jim, there he goes. There he goes. He's going up. Just like he did in Fort Worth to Ted. He's going to try to put Ted right out of the business. The gang wants to eliminate Ted DiBiase from wrestling. That's almost like a total eclipse. Oh, look at that man leap. Teddy moves. That same Ted DiBiase getting out of the way. Teddy's going for his glove, Jim. He's pulling out that glove. Ted says he's got to fight fire with fire. Man, he's got to save his life is what he's got to do. Here comes the gang. Gang is coming. Turn around, Ted. There it is. He just stiffed him in the breadbasket. He's trying to fire off. Akbar tripped him. That again, Jim. I think there ought to be a penalty box there all the time for stuff like that. Now Akbar's in there. He doesn't care if he gets disqualified. Steve Cox is it. Steve has pushed Akbar away. Steve should be. Watch it from behind, kid. Oh, Ted DiBiase drop kicked the gang into Steve Cox. Yeah, Teddy's dropped one on this thing. Is pandemonium. Steve Cox is counting him down. Cox, it's not an official victory, but it's certainly a moral victory. And Teddy's grabbed the belt. He's going to take the belt anyway. Ted DiBiase's going to take the belt and leave.
Steve Cox counted down the one-man gang, and DiBiase is leaving with a championship. The young rookie Steve Cox counting down the one-man gang, and that certainly incensed Devastation Incorporated, especially General Skandar Akbar. Akbar didn't forget Steve Cox's interference, and later in last week's program, here's what happened.
Well, I understand that you're a protege of the Oklahoma flunkout, Dr. Death Williams. Well, you're in bad company to begin with. I don't know who you are or what you rep. But if you want an education, you don't have to go to college. I'll give you one through devastation, punk. So nobody, shut up and listen to me. Nobody puts their hands on the Godfather. Nobody puts their hands on the General. And if you don't think there's any consequences, you just ask Hacksaw Duggan, who's long gone from the UWF. You can ask Kafusi, who's taking a beating. And you can ask that ingrate Savannah Jack, and the list goes on and on. So if you want to join them, boy, I got Eli the Eliminator. Why don't you just step on up here, big shot, and show them what a big American stud that you really are. Oh, and by the way, I don't do it like you back-jumping Americans. We'll do it one-on-one. Me and Wild Bill will leave the ring. So you want an education, punk? Come on.
Well, Bill, that's a pretty straightforward challenge to this young man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know if Doc, I just don't know if he's ready for that kind of challenge or not. He's a youngster with a lot of heart and a lot of fire. If you talk about stepping into the real den of rattlesnakes, you know, he's still fresh out of where they play by the rules, you know, and if it's one-on-one or it's the one team against the other, but it's not the whole team against one guy. And right now, if he's not careful, he's just stepping into that kind of snake pit.
The fans are certainly behind him, but they don't have to go in and face Eli.
Oh, but Steve Cox is a powerful kid, you know. He's a tough kid. He's an All-American. You know, you can't take it, and he loves to compete. But I'm afraid what he doesn't understand is he may not just be against Eli. Oh, he got caught there, but he gave it right back. It's just one-on-one, toe-to-toe. Oh, all right. Oh, I love it. He popped that sucker. All right, Bill Irwin's coming in. See, that's what I mean. He's not going to be. It's going to be.
And they have to put
Doc better get out there. They're going to be on him. The kid's giving it all. He's giving his all, but he's got a powerful toe. There's Doc and Teddy. Doc and Teddy aren't going to let him catch it that way.
But Steve Cox was standing tall. Skandar Akbar has issued a very public and very clear warning that Steve Cox is not to interfere in the matches, and apparently with Dr. Death going to Japan for his national tour, Steve Cox will have a tall chore to stay in one piece as far as Devastation Incorporated is concerned. Akbar swears that DiBiase's career is in deep jeopardy, as is the career of Savannah Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got more exciting wrestling action coming your way. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Akbar is after this time. He has a message for his adversary.
First of all, you can see that the UWF title is safe and secure where it rightfully belongs. Secondly, there's going to be some heavy hitting because it's retribution time in the UWF. I'm mad, upset, and I'm angry. And when that happens, everybody better run and hide. And I'm talking about Ted DiBiase. I'm talking about Savannah Jack, Dr. Death, the OU flunk out, and that protege of yours, Steve, what's your name, Cox? Well, boy, you're high on the hit list, and you better look over your left and right, because you're going to see a lot of the Godfather.
This event, ladies and gentlemen, one fall with a 10-minute time. Introducing, weighing in at 225 pounds from Dallas, Texas, Jeff Rates. His partner, weighing in at 220 pounds from Vicksburg, Mississippi, Ken Massey. Their opponents across the ring, representing Devastation Incorporated, weighing 280 pounds from Minnesota, Wild Bill Irwin. And his partner, Eli.
Well, General Akbar is a man that has certainly, I don't know if there's anyone anymore just out and out evil and devious in this sport than General Skandar Akbar. And when he sets his sights on something, it usually happens. And Akbar has made it very, very public that there are some very definite marked men in the Universal Wrestling Federation. And he's going to have Eli and Wild Bill really crank for this one to send perhaps a little physical message so that all that are watching can understand that Devastation Incorporated certainly means business. But I think the one-man gang also realizes that Ted DiBiase is such a dangerous threat to the Universal Heavyweight Championship. DiBiase has proven and has pinned the one-man gang on 2 occasions now with unofficial, non-sanctioned victories because he was not counted down by a legal referee in the Universal Wrestling Federation. As Eli and Wild Bill Irwin, an outstanding tag team combination, are dismantling young Jeff Rates, the Dallas, Texas native, here as General Akbar is that arrogance as he is wearing the Universal Wrestling Federation championship belt. So ever so proudly, almost reliving his career again, formed the one-man gang. And Rates with a nice move, and he made the tag to Ken Massey. And Massey is firing on Wild Bill Irwin here on the UWF. High elevation. Up goes Wild Bill Irwin, and Ken Massey certainly not intimidated at this team of Devastation Incorporated. But Irwin, with the Long Rider style boots, bearing him into the chest of Ken Massey, and now tagging in the young hammer, the youngest member of Devastation Incorporated, Eli. A man that has made a lot of money being not a free agent. Look at Eli's great strength. The tag was made. And a double axe handle coming across the back and the neck of Ken Massey as Eli held Massey high above his head. And Irwin with that cowboy boot right to the face of Ken Massey. And he has Grapevine, Jeff Rates coming in, but very ineffective as Eli takes over on Rates. And we've got a victory for Devastation Incorporated. And ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments, you'll see the wrestling debut of the Tulsa All-American Steve Cox when we come back.
When they go up against Pretty Miss Sunshine and the Freebirds. The new UWF Tag Team Champions, Terry Taylor and Chris Adams, and Steve Cox taking on the one-man gang and General Skandar Akbar. Savannah Jack defends his UWF TV title against tough Iceman King Parsons.
From Pensacola, Florida, at 229 pounds, Mike Boyette. Also introducing, making his professional wrestling debut from right here at the University of Tulsa at 248 pounds, Steve Cox. This match, 1 fall or 10-minute time limit.
General Skandar Akbar with that big roll. And there's some long green there, I'll tell you. And I know Mike Boyette is very enthralled, and he hasn't seen that kind of money, I wouldn't think, in a while. And a few of us have, as far as that's concerned. General Skandar Akbar, that money's probably got mothballs flying out of there. Akbar, a man that has made money, and he has kept his money, he has invested well. A very wealthy man, and he has added some incentive for Mike Boyette to give this young man, Steve Cox, a wrestling lesson, and more specifically, to perhaps discourage him from even further competing. But you take a look at the physique of this young man. Has a great amateur background, an amateur champion as a matter of fact, but he was an All-American football offensive guard. Universal under Coach John Cooper, who led the Arizona State Wildcats to a Rose Bowl victory. Steve Cox is an outstanding young athlete and the protege of Steve Dr. Death Williams. I know that Doc has been training Steve, and much like the influence that Cowboy Bill Watts had on Dr. Death's career, I hope that the Doc will have the same positive influence on the career of this outstanding young man who has a tremendous physique from long hours of training. I know he spent a lot of hours right over on 15th Street in Tulsa at Mike Mogan's gym pumping that iron, and he's one tough kid. I've heard a lot of stories about him, but he showed his intestinal fortitude he got involved with Akbar. That may be a mistake with Dr. Death going on his world tour and being in Japan. Mike Boyette did pull the hair there. I don't know if Boyette's got the physical strength to put Steve Cox down. This Cox looks tremendous, and Boyette with the elbow to the side of the head. Now, you've got to remember, Boyette has got years of experience, but Steve Cox elevated Mike Boyette. Cox with a side suplex, and Steve Cox on top of the lateral press. Steve Cox with a victory. General Skandar Akbar didn't make a very good investment there. Steve Cox just may be, well, here to stay. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll have the debuting Sam Houston with us against Rick Steiner right after this from the UWF.
Shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Feel the rhythm of the music getting stronger. Don't you fight it till you try to do that conga beat.
If you like wild and exciting tag team action, the place to be will be the Sam Houston Coliseum on Friday, March 6th. One of the big tag team showdowns will be for the Universal Wrestling Federation tag team title and belt. Talking to champion Sensational Terry Taylor along with gentleman Chris Adams up against Eli the Eliminator and Wild Bill Irwin. First of all, congratulations, Terry, and good luck on Friday, March 6th.
Well, thank you very much. It's kind of a strange twist of fate the way this happened. A long time ago, Chris Adams and myself said we were planning on being tag team partners, and we all know what happened to Chris. I guess fate just brought us back together, and yes, we are a good team. We feel like we are the team of the 80s in the Universal Wrestling Federation. We are the champions, and it was tough getting here. Now, we know that Devastation, Akbar, he hates not having all the titles. He has a one-man gang who's a top man in the singles, and he wants these with Eli and Wild Bill Irwin. So we know I have our work cut out for us. Chris and I have been working out since he's been back. We just feel like we're on the top of our game plan, and if they want to wrestle, we'll be glad to do that. But if you guys want to fight, you'll see this Florida boy and this guy from England can get down with the best of them. Thank you very much.
Good luck. Terry Taylor and gentleman Chris Adams defending with Dark Missing Link and Chavo Guerrero up against Sunshine and the Fabulous Freebirds, Michael Hayes and Buddy Jack Roberts. Elimination tag, Chavo. One member loses, back to the dressing room.
You know, I don't like to tag with women. Nothing against the women out there, but you know, I think that women in this sport should have their women against women. But in this case, there's going to be 2 men and 1 woman against 2 men and 1 woman. In this case, Chavo Guerrero, The Link, and my good friend Dark Journey against the Freebirds, Michael Hayes, Buddy Roberts, and Sunshine. And let me tell you, I would be none happier than to have this lady in my corner because she's tough, she's mean, and I would put her there against just about anybody, including a man. And I know you're going to take care of Sunshine.
That's right. I'm going to take care of her because she's a back jumper. Sunshine, you want to put your hands on me and throw me in a cage? Here's a perfect opportunity because every time that one of these guys, Link or Chavo, touch me, that means you have to come in. And I learned a little more each time I got in the ring before. So this time, Sunshine, I'm going to be rattling your cage.
You know what we're going to put on? Go on and we're going to start jogging and get in shape. Y quiero invitar a todos mis amigos, ya que saben que estamos aquí en Houston. Vamos a hacer los Freebirds y Sunshine contra Dark Journey, el Link y yo, su servidor. Los espero su apoyo. ¡Viva México! ¡Viva la raza! All right, let's go get up! Yeah!
That's the final event with Chavo Guerrero, Missing Link, and Dark Journey up against
Michigan at 268 pounds, Rick Steiner.
That's the Motor City Badman, Rick Steiner. As I mentioned, Cowboy Bill Watts. I was in Detroit just a couple of weeks ago, visiting with the program director, Larry Ault of WXYZ, the general sales manager, Grace Gilchrist, and Rick Steiner waiting on the arrival of the debuting Sam Houston.
And introducing from Waco, Texas, at 218 pounds, Sam Houston. This match, one fall or television time.
Some exciting events coming up in the Universal Wrestling Federation back in Kansas City, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Chicago, Illinois, Minneapolis, the historic Kiel Auditorium in St. Louis. UWF action coming soon. There's the sound of the bell. Debuting Sam Houston. Former Pro Wrestling Rookie of the Year, a 21-year-old young man with a tremendous career ahead of him, as is Rick Steiner. And I think what you're seeing right here are two of the finest young athletes in professional wrestling. Both men coming from very different backgrounds. And Steiner and Sam Houston showing a little bit of amazement. But as they say, you ain't seen nothing yet. This man doesn't know how strong he is. Sam Houston with a kip up. He's certainly not intimidated, as so many would be. Hunter said he's the toughest man ever to come out of Detroit. He may get his chance to prove that. We'll be in Detroit in the next few weeks. We'll be telling you about that, along with several other great events that you've already heard about in the hour. We hope that you will join us for live UWF action wherever it may be. There's just nothing like seeing it in person. Steiner showing his strength using one arm. I've seen him, he's just in the weight room do some things that unless you see it, it's just hard to believe how strong he is. But Sam Houston, with a great fighting heart, an outstanding young man with a lot of agility. And Sam Houston with a drop kick. And quick to his feet. As I mentioned, Sam Houston, 21 years of age, an outstanding competitor. Many of the fans around the country have followed his career, and it has been a sparkling one, especially in the past 12 months. And he's here in the toughest area of all, and a cheap shot by Rick Steiner as a referee. Carl Fergie went between the two men, and now Steiner back to the power moves, and that's just about as blatant and as powerful as you can get. First the fist, and now the kicks. We have 1:30 of airtime remaining in this hour of Universal Wrestling Federation action. Next week, a new UWF Top 10, and we will have a statement from Iceman King Parsons. And there's a great power slam by Rick Steiner. But Steiner did not grapevine that leg, and I think he has realized he made a tactical error there. Houston reaching down and kicking out. That may have been a fatal mistake for Steiner. He should have grapevine the leg there. Sam Houston now trying to get Steiner off balance, and there's a Bulldog headlock. Sam Houston caught Steiner with a Bulldog headlock, and there's a pinfall. Now that's the way you debut in Pro Wrestling. What a great victory for young Sam Houston. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, right here next week, the new UWF Top 10 ratings will have a statement from Iceman King Parsons. We'll hear some more comments about the penalty box match. And we'll be talking about some tremendous events coming to the UWF in the next few weeks.
The second time, too. That beard is no defense.
And that teamwork of Sting and Hot Stuff starting to pay off. Those months and months of experience of wrestling together. as Hot Stuff was almost at 6 cents. So when the referee's not looking to try to get away with it. Again, the referee trying to keep Gaylord out. Jeff Gaylord frustrated, trying to help Gary Young, but every time he does, the referee stops him, and it ends up hurting Gary Young's chances instead of enhancing them.
The fastest moves Gilbert has made have been to escape detection by the referee. But now the hold is applied well. It's an abdominal stretch. It means you're pulling a man in 2 directions. At the same time, it is a hold that can be excruciatingly painful, and in this particular case is certain to be extremely uncomfortable, and Gary Young is trying to ease it some. Listen to them now as they holler for Gary Young to go, go, go. And he's willing, and here comes Gilbert. Gilbert's looking for a place to take an unfair wallop before the Sting got out of the ring.
Question is now, he goes right back to that abdominal stretch. He's veteran enough to know that it's been working well. Gary Young's taking a lot of punishment, and the longer they can put that twist on, the better chances they have of getting Gary Young to shout he quits, and that's the objective of the match, is to win it. Good close-up shot of Gary Young, showing a lot of determination. We spotted that earlier in the match when he was able to match hot for blow, kick for kick. But it's times like this you really see the intestinal fortitude of a wrestler, how long he's able to take that tough predicament.
Yes, and that's a tough hold to take. It's a match winner, particularly if you can get him down on the mat and work it for a pinfall, or if you can force the submission fall here, as Gilbert is certain he can do, since he has added to the punishment that has been absorbed by Gary Young. And speaking of punishment, that UWF tag team title battle next Friday night with Terry Taylor and gentleman Chris Adams working together to defend the title they won in the recent tournament is going to be a real sparkler.
Well, Friday night you have 2 title matches, a special challenge match, a 6-person elimination tag, 4 other matches. The place to be will be the Sam Houston Coliseum. And now the place not to be is where Gary Young is, and that's on the floor after taking that beating. But Gary Young, he is a tough individual. We've beatings before and come bouncing back. You see Jeff Gaylord now hovering over his opponent, trying to get Gary Young to get into his corner to give him the tag. Jeff Gaylord anxiously wants a chance to take up the battle. Carl Fergie again challenging the manner in which Gary Young was thrown outside the ring.
Yes, and Gary Young now is looking for the question about how to get back in that ring and not to fall into the trap of getting that abdominal stretch put on him again. Even when you catch one on the whiskers, it's better to have one of those than to have that hold tearing you in 2 directions at once. And there goes the general, Eddie Gilbert. On this side, he's got a handful of trunks. He's hiding it from the referee. Yes, that does help. It does pull a man in tighter. It gives you something to use as a handle that you don't ordinarily use. And he's pulling on those trunks, and when the referee is on the opposite side, he is privileged to have his hand back there. But to hang on and to add to the problem, there you see what he's doing. Our mobile camera on the floor was able to get around to him.
Carl Fergie now questioning Hot Stuff, calls for the break as he caught Gilbert pulling on the tights. But that side of Gary Young has been the target of punishment the last few minutes, as he is only able to take so much. That's the hot strut of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. He never missed an opportunity to display it. And that time, the showboating paid off for Gary Young and not for Hot Stuff Gilbert, because it gave him enough time to try to battle back. Now, there's Young who threw him over the top rope, and I think Gary Young a little bit frustrated at being the victim a couple of times, and now we'll probably hear Hot Stuff really scream that he was taken advantage of.
And you notice how quickly Gary Young assumed the same position on the mat that he saw Eddie Gilbert assume, that position of innocence. But both men are being counted.
And in comes Jeff Gaylord.
In comes the Sting, and he is stung immediately.
And Jeff Gaylord, who's been waiting impatiently to get back into the match. We've got it off. All 4 men in the ring. Gary Young taking care of Hot Stuff Gilbert. Jeff Gaylord and Sting are the legal men in the ring, and a drop kick in that turnbuckle. Jeff Gaylord's got a powerful drop kick, and now a wind up and a good close-up shot as he starts to beat a tattoo upside the head of Sting. As the fans now encouraging Gaylord and Young to keep up their good work. Comes charging, and that time his aggressiveness led to a mistake.
Got him in close. He could have gotten by a foot, but he couldn't get by that knee. He was about to hit him. And as Sting comes in, he's trying to set him up again for another similar. Oh, he dove with that clothesline, and it was a tough blow to take. So Gary Young is down. Sting looking for the word from the general, gives him the tag, and gives him the honor of stepping in for what he thinks is going to be the pinfall.
Hot Stuff strutted on over, and Gaylord still trying to recuperate from that vicious clothesline, not able to do it in time, as Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Sting with Missy Hyatt in their corner are the winners of this tag team battle. Not a popular victory, but a great effort by Gary Young and Jeff Gaylord. They just were not able to overcome the experience and talent of the colorful winners, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Sting.
Well, we hope you
It concerns steroids, drugs used to help build muscle size and strength. Now, professional and amateur athletes have made headlines by abusing them. But 2020 has discovered a new user and possible abuser of these steroids, our own children. I think what shocked me, and you too, Hugh, when we were talking about it earlier, is the reason that they're using it is not for strength, but for appearance.
For appearance, yes. And I know this sounds very strange, really, but it's become a sort of an underground fashion trend, really. It's an in thing for teenage boys to do. But as Bob Brown tells us, this frightening new drug fad, in reality, is a very dangerous shortcut to a great-looking body.
Come on, push it, push it. One more time.
This is the weight room of a high school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And these students represent one of the trends of the last few years in high schools across the country.
Concentrate on that floor and get your elbows in.
A 2020 survey of school districts from coast to coast indicates there has been a sizable increase in the number of students who sign up for weight training, bodybuilding. They have designer jeans, one coach said. Now they want a perfect body. But achieving that goal can require months or years of work. Some students, attracted by the promise of dramatic results within weeks, have turned to a group of illegally obtained drugs that we usually hear about only in terms of competitive athletics, steroids.
I took them just because I was sick of being a small person. I was always like a runt, you know? And I wanted people to look up to me, I guess, a little bit. And that was the way I picked, you know?
Both you guys grew up together, right?
Just about.
You knew each other. How would you describe each other in terms of size?
Wimps. Wimps.
Wimps?
Skinny. Yeah, real skinny.
Yeah.
You know, no power, no size, no nothing.
How much did you weigh?
90 pounds. I weighed about 115 pounds, 120. Found no other way to get bigger, so we just started finding solutions.
And what were the solutions?
Steroids.
Well, I got introduced really to the steroids by being a sports physician and taking care of a lot of college and professional athletes.
Dr. Mark Silverman is a Miami chiropractor and a team physician for Miami-Dade Community College.
I started noticing all these kids who were in their early teens and mid-teens who looked like Hulks. And I said to the fellow who was training me, God, how do I get to be like that? And he says, oh, you take some steroids and we can get you to look like that in 6 to 8 weeks.
Steroids are compounds that are closely related to male hormones. Anabolic steroids are used to build muscle size and strength. They can help patients after injuries or cancer treatments, or they can be used in the treatment of male hormone deficiencies or certain types of anemia.
But compared to the amounts prescribed for medical purposes, the doses that bodybuilders take to increase muscle bulk are gigantic. The steroids come in both tablet and injectable form. Dr. William Taylor of Washington State University, a member of the U.S. Olympic Committee's drug control program, says steroid users take the drugs in cycles that last for weeks, increasing the doses during the first half of the cycle and then reducing the amount during the second half.
They don't inject it intravenously.
They don't inject it intravenously because it doesn't work that way. They inject it straight into the muscle, usually the gluteal muscle or the butt muscle. And they may actually inject them into a specific muscle that they're going to work on that particular day, like the bicep, that type of thing.
At our school, it was just accepted as an everyday thing. And most people just, if you're on steroids, oh, that's okay, you know, it was no big deal.
Lori Schneider is a journalism student at Fort Lauderdale's South Plantation High School.
Anybody got a blue pencil?
Here's a blue pen, but you can...
Okay.
She conducted a survey that began to draw widespread attention to steroid use when it was published in her school paper and showed that many students were obtaining steroids simply for the sake of improving their appearance. There was even a new student vocabulary associated with steroids. Users are called roids or roidals. They are predominantly male, since female steroids begin to take on masculine traits. And because steroids are illegal to use without a prescription, many of the students we talked with wanted their identities hidden, even though their motives were typical.
People treat you better all over. People respect you more. It's like in the olden days, the strongest guy was the king, you know, like in the night days. And that's the way it boils down to. You know, people haven't changed much, in my opinion. You know, they see you and, you know, the girl's there at the counter, she gives you an extra large piece of pizza and stuff like that. So it has advantages all the way around, I think.
It's like if you're sitting on the beach, for instance, and you see two guys walk by, and even if he's on steroids and he's got a good body, you're going to look twice before you would look at someone who's just the average kid sitting there.
What are some of the potential side effects of using steroids?
Certainly the cardiovascular disease, increased risk of heart attack at an early age, increased risk for permanent sterility, increased risk for premature balding. And I think that there's probably a long-term effect to the brain, and there may be an irreversible effect to the personality.
You ready? Come on. Come on. 1, 2.
George and Tito are both 18 years old. They work out together. We asked them and other steroid users we met for snapshots of what they used to look like before they began taking steroids. All said they would be too embarrassed to show us, and they were all well aware of the medical warnings about steroids.
The list of potential problems from steroids just seems huge to me.
That's what a lot of people say. You know, what's going to happen, your liver, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. That all depends on your diet and what you're taking. If you're taking, let's say, 2 kinds of hormones and a pill, and you have the right amount of diet, right certain foods you can eat, certain things you can do, nothing will happen. No side effects will come out.
They're very educated, they learn a lot about it, but they only use the facts that are in their best interest. For example, you'll get a kid who'll say, well, the acne that I get all over my face and body, or somebody can get from taking steroids, is really from the chocolates that they eat because they crave more carbohydrates. That's a bunch of garbage. But to justify, to deny, to lie, to exaggerate, those are all the qualities of somebody who's addicted to a drug. And you would find that in heroin addicts, cocaine addicts, and it's no different with steroids.
Users will also say they often experience a kind of Jekyll and Hyde personality shift. Mike is a freshman at a university in Miami who says his workout results now come strictly from a natural schedule. He says he tried steroids for a month when he was in high school and then quit because afraid of becoming addicted and concerned by his growing aggressiveness.
You know, I can remember this, going out at night and somebody bumping into you at like a disco or something like that. You'd want to kill the guy. You'd want to kill him. I mean, literally want to tear his head off.
It had nothing to do with a normal kind of
the guy didn't even mean to bump into you, you know, it's just, you know, I mean, you just wanted to tear his head off.
Billy and Ernie, who are high school seniors, say that when they were in the midst of their steroid cycles, they had to have a kind of buddy system in the restaurant where they both worked, each watching out for the other's mood swings.
We used to get outrageously out of control. We'd just have to run up and just like grab each other and just wrench each other. Calm down, Ern. Calm down right now. Because we'd go crazy. Take deep breaths. We'd go in the back and bang our heads against the refrigerators to just like relieve our tension, you know. Put big dents in these steel refrigerator
People
doors.
are going, you are crazy, but it really helped us. You look back on it and goes,
didn't do that. There's no telling how many people we would have hit.
The most dangerous side effect is the psychological problems that evolve. They get very edgy, hostile, aggressive, and as a result, they have a tendency to get involved in violent situations.
I got in a fight with my girlfriend and I punched 4 holes in the wall because of it. I fought with everybody in school.
Including teachers.
Teachers, I mean, with everybody. My parents, my brothers.
And I'm not like that. I'm not that, you know, that type of person. You know, I like to be nice to people, and I hated that feeling.
Where do the kids that you talk to get their steroids? They're obviously illegal to buy without a prescription,
Yeah,
so what were their sources?
That's just kind of like kids with marijuana today. If you want something, you can get it.
This man, whose identity we agreed not to reveal, is a dealer in an illegal steroid market that the FBI estimates is currently worth $100 million a year in the U.S.
What kind of income can you generate selling steroids?
Like right now, I'm not working. I live off steroids. I can make a lot of money off of it. Like, for instance, a bottle of Deca, I can probably get it for $2. And here in Miami, I can sell it for $15. A small-time steroid seller can make a week probably $700, $800 a week.
That's a small time.
That's small time. Big time can make a lot more. Maybe $3,000, $2,000 a week.
Tito showed us the most convincing evidence of how easy it is to get steroids. We visited 4 Miami pharmacies with him one evening. In this one, our camera was concealed in a shoulder bag. Everywhere he asked, despite the fact that he had no prescription and the pharmacist was breaking the law, Tito was able to casually buy what he wanted right at the front counter.
I was friendly with the guy, just asked him what I wanted. I asked him for 2 kinds of drugs, a hormone named Deca-Durabana and a pill, which is 2.5 milligrams called Anavar. He told me the prices, which were $40 for the pills, $10 for the shot. I paid the guy. He said, all right, have a nice day.
School authorities in Fort Lauderdale have been among the first in the nation to recognize the increase in steroid use among some students and to provide counseling and advice. Linda Wilhoit is principal of South Plantation High School. Brenda Dillon is a drug and alcohol abuse advisor for the district.
I suppose even 3 years ago, a lot of people weren't even aware of what steroids were.
3 years ago, surveying one school in the south part of the county, I couldn't find any recognizable symptoms of it occurring 3 years ago. Now, I would say in at least half of the high schools, there are some identifiable groups. We've also had a lot of input from parents, a lot of phone calls. They've said, I sort of suspect that maybe my son or daughter is on steroids. How can I check this out? When you see a change of a youngster in 6 months from 130 pounds to 210, all this muscle bulk, you have a pretty good idea that that's what they're doing, that they want to be the macho image and get the girl, and that'll make them accepted by the peers.
One more.
But if users are getting the image and acceptance they want quickly, they begin to lose that image just as quickly when they go off steroids. And that, according to Dr. Silverman, is one of the biggest obstacles to dealing with the problem.
And then when they get off the cycle, it's like someone takes a pin and sticks it in the balloon, and slowly the air starts to come out, and they start to see themselves deflating, and their strength starts to disappear. And as a result, their egos, they can't handle it. And what happens, a lot of them rush back to take the next cycle.
After every cycle, you tend to decrease in size and weight a little, And then, like, your buddies at the gym, they start messing with you. You're getting small, and it gets you mad, it gets you angry.
I hate that feeling. I hate being down on myself. I want to go to the gym. Like, I'm starting this week. I'm going to start going to the gym. I haven't been going. I've been doing other things.
And you're thinking about using steroids again?
Yeah. I want to get back to the gym for like a month before I go back on, though.
Now, Bill's thinking of going back. Would you ever consider going back?
I'm going to give it a little work, and if nothing comes too soon, I think I probably would. I'm saying that I wouldn't, but I probably would.
If you had to get a kid off of steroids, how do you do it? How do you approach it?
I'll be honest with you, I have not had great success. I have spoken to numerous kids on steroids. I have shown them the research that I have done, shown them case studies about people who've developed problems. But once they're on it, it's almost impossible to get them off it. It's very, very difficult.
What happens if you turn my age, if you get into your mid-40s and some problem develops with your liver or your kidney? What are you going to think about yourself?
Bad move, Ern.
I'm not going to worry about it now, But when it comes, they can treat it.
I mean, kids think they're immortal. It's never going to happen with them. But are there some examples of people who've been taking steroids where you can say to the kids, hey, look, this is what happened?
One of the problems has been that steroid use for these purposes really only goes back around 30 years, and the dramatic examples are just starting to show up. For example, the first case of liver cancer that was attributed to steroid use only came up in 1984. There is now a dramatic case involving the son of a bodybuilder, Vic Tanny. Vic Tanny Jr. went on steroids in his late 20s and developed ulcers in his intestines within 10 years that they attribute to steroids.
And you've got to have education, and they really do have to understand the damage. Thank you, Bob.
Yes, yes. More and more big city hospitals are using helicopters to transport patients because they can rise above the snarls of traffic that plague conventional emergency ambulances. This is a fast-growing new industry. It is beneficial and certainly well-intentioned. And yet, Tom Jarrell has discovered some very real problems with these so-called angels of mercy.
They seem to be everywhere. At automobile accident scenes, buzzing through the canyons of downtown skyscrapers over traffic gridlock below, landing on church parking lots or plowed fields 24 hours a day, venturing wherever there's trouble.
Life Flight 3, scene shooting.
Retrieving gunshot victims, accident victims, burn victims, or those stricken by heart attack or stroke. Emergency medical helicopters carrying a specialized team with advanced first aid equipment are in the skies in growing numbers. Tragically, there are also false skies so often. The question is being raised, are these choppers angels of mercy or machines of death?
The accident rate is outrageously high. Am I correct in stating that the accident rate for medical helicopters is 1,500 times as high as the commercial aviation accident rate? Wouldn't it be accurate to say that such a rate is alarmingly high and without any precedent?
It's too high, and we are focusing on it. It is an area in which we must control.
Engen is answering questions about the fastest growing segment of the aviation industry, the emergency medical service helicopters, which have the worst accident rate in aviation history. They crash about 5 times as often as other choppers and more than 100 times as often as commercial airplanes. Consider December 3rd, 1986. 7 people die in 2 separate accidents, 4 in Tennessee and Oregon. A month earlier, Kodiak, Alaska, 6 die. In South Georgia in February, 4 servicemen die when their chopper hits the treetops on a medical mission. And in North Carolina this January, a pilot and medical team die along with their young patient, a 3-1/2-month-old Xenia Lewis, daughter of a Marine Corps couple. She was being transferred on a non-critical mission.
At the time, I thought she was going by ambulance. Really, I did. But when they told me she had died on a helicopter, why? That's all I could ask is why. What was she doing on a helicopter?
And it has yet to be explained why she was on a helicopter. It has yet to be explained.
The tragic case of the young Marine Corps couple points out the dilemma of emergency medical helicopters. They can save lives, yes, but they're also taking lives of patients, medics, and pilots. Why?
I've been flying when I was so fatigued that I was dozing trolls.
Don Wright is a former pilot with Herman Hospital in Houston, the largest hospital-run EMS program in the country.
The first thing to go with the chronic long-term fatigue is pilot judgment. And the problem there is compounded by the fact that it's not recognizable to oneself.
Pilot fatigue is cited as the #1 concern of the men who fly emergency medical helicopters.
I'm a military-trained pilot with Vietnam experience. I've flown in the Arctic.
Rick Stroud was once what they called a white knight, a pilot willing to challenge the odds to make an emergency medical rescue. He was fired for refusing to work a 75-hour week.
Our schedule was planned to work 295.99 hours a month.
A month?
A month.
So what do long hours have to do with helicopter crashes?
Many times you'd find yourself making minor, seemingly apparent minor mistakes. Failure to turn on your anti-collision light, maybe failure to tune a specific radio, or to make an appropriate radio call to the tower. As was
Wright
required.
should know, when he was a White Knight pilot, he used to respond to situations like this one. In Houston, a flash fire at an auto repair shop. A workman is seriously injured with 35% of his body burned. The medics at the scene call life flight, and within minutes, a chopper is dispatched.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
The pilot and medics load the patient into the helicopter. En route, the patient's heart is monitored. Oxygen is administered, and he's given fluid resuscitation. His trip to Herman Hospital's rooftop landing pad is 10 minutes instead of the 45 it would take by ambulance. The burn victim is hurried down a corridor into a special elevator which opens into the trauma area, where 2 operating rooms are staffed and...
Sir, take a deep breath for me.
For those critically injured, it's a race against the clock to reach the care of expert trauma teams. The White Knight pilots are team players in that race. But Wright and several other pilots were fired from Herman last year after they signed a letter to the hospital administrator stating, quote, "There is a major compromise of safety involved with our work schedule." Herman Hospital denied to us there was a pilot schedule problem, saying their crews worked only 44 hours a week. Life Flight Director Bill LaChance.
A pilot yesterday was on duty for 12 hours. Now, that wouldn't be a 44-hour week. In 5 days, that would be over 50 hours.
Mathematically, that's correct, except that we man with more pilots than that equation would account for.
But Mr. LaChance's own statistics show that 6 of his 15 men worked over 200 hours in a 28-day period. That's more than 50 hours a week. But in this business where fatigue is a problem, so perfectly legal. The FAA has few regulations for this industry, which has grown from 1 EMS program 11 years ago to 165 today. Last fall, in a move which critics call irresponsible, the FAA changed its rules, extending the on-duty time for EMS pilots to a 16-hour day.
I want to know why you liberalized the safety requirements in October of last year in the teeth of 2 straight years of an unprecedentedly high accident rate. Why did you liberalize the requirements?
I can't give you a direct answer why they were liberalized.
The FAA chief simply couldn't explain this to Senator Gore, and he refused 2020's request for an interview. But we did hear his explanation for the high EMS accident rate. He blamed it on the White Knight pilot syndrome.
They literally almost kill themselves in trying to get the job done, and that's the mentality we have to get. It's very difficult to tell a pilot or get a pilot to admit, this is not safe, I've got to stop here and let that person die.
One of the largest insurers of EMS helicopters, U.S. Aviation Underwriters, agrees that pilots should concentrate strictly on flying and not become distracted by handling patients. Note the Life Flight pilot on the left as he finishes loading the patient.
He should not be asked to assist on the scene, should not be asked to carry litters or assist in IV bottles or that sort of thing. If his attention is distracted, basically stress, fatigue, and other aspects enter into the equation, accidents result.
The FAA doesn't keep close track of EMS accidents or incidents unless there's an injury or a fatality. So no one really knows how many medical helicopters are involved in dangerous mishaps. They did know that this chopper from Herman dropped to the ground from 800 feet when a gearbox failed. Luckily, no one was injured. The machine badly damaged in a close call.
Was this considered a crash?
Heavens no.
You be the judge. Here is an almost identical incident in West Lafayette, Indiana last year, involving a helicopter with a news camera rolling on board. From a height of a few hundred feet, they lose altitude and spin and pitch to the ground, auto-rotating just like they did at Herman, as seen in this unedited tape. While not precisely the same as the Herman mishap, this is an example of the kind of incident a fragile helicopter can suddenly encounter. They didn't walk away from this one like they did with a Herman chopper. Although similar, this situation involved injuries. It was considered an accident. Again, safety records can be misleading because often serious incidents are not classified as accidents unless someone gets hurt.
My seatbelt will not come undone.
Although Herman's program is large and successful, industry analysts say just last year it was involved in dangerous incidents. Examples: transmission cowling, departed aircraft. Engine cowling was sucked into the main rotor blades. A rear luggage door came off in flight. A blade strike, origin unknown.
We've made over 40,000 takeoffs and landings without an accident involving a patient.
Well, you could liken that to a child running across the street without looking. They may get away with it for a while, but sooner or later it's going to catch up with them.
Across the country, those risks are catching up with EMS programs.
If the FAA refuses to act, then the competitive pressures in this business will continue to push hospitals in the direction of keeping the minimum number of pilots possible on each one of these, assigned to each one of these helicopters, giving them the minimum safety equipment and maintenance, and then pushing them beyond their, exposing the public to an unacceptable risk.
The high cost of maintaining an emergency helicopter service, critics assert, is forcing hospitals to use these choppers indiscriminately. Beside their primary role of providing speed in life or death situations, they're being increasingly used as air taxis and as a means to hustle business to fill hospital beds. Critics tell us these EMS choppers are used to harvest patients, that they compete for trauma victims. The motive? Trauma centers are one of the most expensive medical services that a hospital has to offer, with an average price tag for such specialized care of $25,000. If you're in an accident, somebody, somewhere may decide this is just what you need for a quick ride to the hospital. And if you're badly hurt or unconscious, you'll never have a vote in the matter. Those decisions are usually left up to policemen, firemen, or medics at the accident scene. But patients from one hospital to another are decided by doctors. In Tennessee, a doctor wanted to transfer Cooper Crouch by air from Jamestown to Nashville for diagnostic tests. His widow.
I feel like that I put him on there, or had him put on there, thinking that everything would be fine.
It might have been, but Cooper Crouch was the victim of all that can go wrong in a medevac flight. As a patient, it's debatable he even needed an emergency transfer for his test. But the decision was made to fly him at night. His pilot was on a 24-hour work shift and seemed unfamiliar with the landing site.
I don't believe he had been to Jamestown before. And I think that maybe he talked with the doctor about lighting the helicopter pad a little better, or something that he could be sure he could find it there.
Shortly after takeoff, the medevac chopper slammed into the treetops, killing all of, including one man who was afraid to fly, the patient, Cooper Crouch.
Of course, he was strapped to his cot, which is what they always do. But I saw some of the pictures, and the cot was even warped, and his straps broke and everything. So I know it must have been a tremendous, tragic thing that happened to all of them.
Oh, dear, Tom. So much of the problem seems to be profit. The hospitals have to fill the beds, so they want the helicopters to take more and more patients.
Right. They're running around. They're little flying billboards for hospitals, going out and harvesting patients, as someone has put it. That's one problem. Another is there's no excuse for these pilots to be flying fatigued. They should regulate that. And the medical profession needs clear guidelines on which patients should be picked up and which don't need this rapid transport. We should point out, Barbara, that Bill LaChance has left Herman Hospital's Life Flight program and a management shakeup. They stand by what he had to say in our report entirely.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you to us.
Thank you, Tom.